Thank you, everyone. So I'll talk about my project on cross-Atlantic experimentation validation for SDN-controlled IoT network. So here the objective was to actually test inter-testbed connectivity. So I'm Sachin Sharma. I'm a lecturer at Technological University Dublin, and this project is done together with UCT and UNL, which is there in the US. So the main objective was to test inter-test bed connectivity by performing experiments on EU and US test beds. And second objective was actually to automatically configure SDN, software-defined networking or OpenFlow in wireless ad hoc network. Actually, this was our previous work, and we wanted to test this work in inter-test bed connectivity. So we wanted to actually, automatically configure this SDN. And then we wanted to achieve best data plane latency for an e-healthcare application, that was deployed in the testbed setting and recover from a failure when it occurs in the network. So this was our plan actually. So we wanted to connect different test beds of EU and the US. So from the EU side, we selected CityLab, YLab, and other virtual wall. The reason why we selected because I had experience with these testbeds, so I wanted to connect these testbed with the US testbed, and from the US side we selected Powder and Cosmos, and then wanted to perform the experiment on automatic configurations of SDN so that we can collect a lot of data from IoT devices and can make some intelligent decisions, based on the data collected, and we used machine learning for that. So at the first case here, so what we did actually, we connected different testbeds together, and we found out because we need public IP addresses to connect with them because they are in the different locations. So first thing we tried to find out that what is the topology, or how different testbeds are connected. So would the traffic go to the public internet or through the research network? So we found we actually run many commands like ping, trace, route, and try to find out the path, how it reaches from one testbed to another, which is one is in the EU and the other one is in the US. And then we found that these testbeds are actually connected using research network like Belnet network in Belgium, because all the testbeds we connected, they are in the Belgium, so CityLab, YLab, and virtual wall. So we also found out where there is public address, where there is private address, how we can connect them together. So then we found that Belnet is really directly connected with Internet 2 network, which is the search network in the US, and then which is connected with the Powder testbed. And then we have public IPv4 addresses in Powder. And then it means that we can really communicate with the devices itself. And then we found the performance of just the network that we actually deployed some nodes in Powder, some nodes in virtual wall and YLab, and then try to find out what is the performance, benchmark. We just try to benchmark it. And then because it doesn't go through the public network, so we really didn't actually find performance degradation here, only the problem with the number of hops, because US testbeds are very far. So where we found latency differences, when we transmitted data from different testbed to another testbed. And then we found that, from CityLab side, it was difficult because they had a firewall somewhere in the router. So we could not actually transport, UDP and TCP traffic in CityLab. So we could not actually make CityLab working. So only testbeds we could make working is virtual wall and, YLab's testbed and the Powder testbeds. So we could actually make this setup. And then we tested SDN. We actually deployed SDN in these different testbed, YLab 1, YLab 2, Powder, and virtual wall. We didn't use CityLab, and then we actually found out the performance and ran the edge computing use case where some functionality we move it to the US testbed, the other functionality we moved it to the EU testbed, and then found out the performance. So one of the results, is related to data flow establishment time. So we saw when actually the controller is placed far away, naturally it will take more time to establish the connection. So it will actually, the performance will actually degrade. So that's what we found, because the US testbed was far away. So we took a little bit longer time in different testbed setting. And then because we actually studied different test beds, so we actually also published different papers together, also 2 demo papers. So the cross-Atlantic experiment where we actually connected different test bed together, we actually published in IEEE networking letters, and then the other one was Future Internet, where we actually studied different test bed, found out the performance, benchmarked them, and then performed the machine learning experiments. So these were our papers which we actually published and also demonstrated in the demo session in IEEE LAN. And currently we are looking for Origin NGI calls where we can actually extend that project. And we now want to run Open RAN in inter-testbed settings. So that's our plan for the future. And that's what this is me. And if you have any questions, this is me, Sachin.Sharma. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Sachin. Very, very nice presentation. And again, similar to my last comment, congratulations on the, connections between, a number of test beds in EU and US. So I just have a similar question for you. How did you find the interactions with, the Powder community, the virtual wall community? Was it forward or through your contacts or your university?
Yeah. Yes, because I worked in IMEC earlier, so I had actually very good contacts with them. So I could really solve the problems, virtual wall problems, and also the EU testbed problems quite easily by contacting them. And also the US side, the communications were very good. They were quite good in replying emails, but sometimes the reservation was actually taking very long time because they have a manual process. Somebody they are actually, give the resources to you and then you get the resources. Sometimes it takes very long time. So that's why, and also it was difficult, because we get resources for some time, then we do something, we don't complete it, then we need to redo it. So that was, time consuming. So that's why we asked extension from you and you gave it, and we are very happy that we got the extension at the end and we could finish it at the end. That's great.
Yes. Okay, congratulations.
Thank you.
I have also a question. Thank you very much for the presentation. Very interesting. It's also related to this integration with the US testbeds. And in particular, this is for you, but maybe also for, it is also valid for the other people. There is this project for Fire who has been working on the integration. So did you get support in terms of tools or things that they have prepared in advance in order to facilitate the integration, or even in the moment that you were integrating, did you get any support from them in order to?
From whom?
For Fire?
Yes, I got support. So we had a lot of email exchange, and because sometimes we were getting issues and then they were solving it, because sometimes the issue was with the testbed and sometimes because we didn't know how things work. So they were really helpful, the FAT45 people and also the Powder people. But for Cosmos, we couldn't make it working actually. So we removed it from our setting, but we used Powder and they were really helpful. Only problem with the US testbed was with the reservation. We couldn't get enough number of nodes from their side.
So it was a problem of availability of resources rather than a technical problem in terms of integration.
No, it was straightforward actually, because they have public IP addresses actually. So we could really make the setup. So, and it doesn't go to the public internet. So if you see the topology, it goes through Bellnet network and then Internet 2 network. So which means that, it is possible to reserve small resources from different testbed and make a large setup, So because there is no interference, so which is a big advantage I see in actually connecting different testbeds together, because most of the time we don't get enough number of resources. So we can get small and then make a big resource out of it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And just in the connection with Powder, was it the University of Utah that you were contacting?
Yeah.
And do they have like a single point of contact for the Powder test
yes,
bed?
they have also Google actually mailing list, and also single point of we were just contacting one guy. I think I don't remember the name, but it was Kian or something. Kirk. We were talking to him. Yeah, it was really helpful. Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.